Hello, Gearheads. My name is Dan, and you're watching an instructional screencast from GearWire.com. In this one, we're going to be taking a listen to what the Blue Microphone's ball can do as far as recording a distorted guitar. We got a little solo action, as well as some rhythm, and we'll be able to hear both of them within a mix. I really like the Blue Ball for a lot of things, but especially heavier guitar. For a $100 mic, I think it pretty much does it better than any other mic in that range, and pretty much far above that. It's kind of my go-to mic for rock guitar. The particular setup I'm using today, the guitar is a Gibson SG vintage 1997, and it's plugged into a Fender Frontman 25R. Now, this is one of the cheapest amps that Fender makes, but it is pretty much exactly like the first amp I ever had, which was a Fender Champion 10. It's got all the same controls, pretty much same I/O almost, but it has definitely the same sound as that amplifier, which I tragically blew up one day whilst experimenting. I won't go into it, it's too tragic. But anyway, I picked it up, and I do like it because it sort of brings me back to the days I was learning guitar, and it sort of has its own sound, you know, not particularly amazing, but I do like to use it every once in a while, and I think the ball marries well with it. And so let's take a listen. Let's do the rhythm guitar first. I was planning on doing the solo first, but let's do the rhythm since it seems more appropriate. I'm going to solo the rhythm part, and let's just take a listen. So the mic is positioned pretty much straight onto the voice coil, and that's how I like to use this microphone. I think if you get off to the side a little bit, which a lot of people like to do, it gets a little muddy. So for a $100 mic, I think it does fairly well. So let's get into what we plugged into. I actually plugged into a Focusrite Platinum Penta, turned off the compression. It's sort of it's just basically a preamp and a compressor. That's how I use it. And I just use it for the preamp in this case. And the reason why I think it works well with this preamp is because the microphone itself has a preamp built into it, sort of like the preamp that you might find in a condenser microphone. And the purpose of the preamp in the microphone is to actually decouple it, or sort of isolate it from the preamp, so the quality of the preamp doesn't affect this microphone as much as a condenser would, even though it's a large diaphragm, in fact, just to be exact. So let's listen to our solo track, soloed. Now I'm not the greatest soloist, but you know, I do my best. So let's just listen to it and see how it sounds. So that's just for the sound. It's got a lot of nice mid-range, I think. I think that's why I like it so much. And, well, let's listen to both these sections in with the mix, and you'll see that it really does punch out, and you don't have to, like, raise it up to levels that are ridiculous like you might with a vocal track. So let's give it a listen. that's a solo sound. I may fool around with that. That's completely dry. I might use some EQ, or I may even re-record it with a different setting, different mic. Who knows? It's not. I wouldn't call it perfect, but for the purpose of this video, I think it really gets across the type of sound you get on a solo. Now let's listen to the rhythm sound. So that's where I really feel that this microphone excels. It gets really meaty, like rhythm out of a rhythm tone out of an amp that is really not all that great and not all that heavy. It does have a good amount of proximity effect. That's why I do like to move it so close to the voice coil. You really get that bass going on the guitar. But the proximity effect is not solo, that it's getting in the way of the bass and the kick drum. So for a $100 mic, I think it does a really good job for this one particular thing. It does a few other things all right as well, like it does vocals all right, and maybe even the bottom of a snare drum. Every once in a while I'll throw it there. Thanks for checking out the video.